Hey everybody, Lord Tremendous here, and this is it. This is Game 5 of the Shiloh Slaughter GT 2015! You finally get to see how badly I got beat. No, you get to finally see the outcome and everything like that. This is the final 2,500 point battle of the Shiloh Slaughter. Game 5. It's Sunday. We're bruised. We're beaten. I'm bleeding from orifices I probably shouldn't be bleeding from. And it's me, Lord Tremendous of the Tomb Kings, versus Ashley Ross of the Warriors of Chaos. Very cool guy. Very glad that I got to play against him. And actually, he was kind of running the gamut of my gaming group because he played Token Gal as well. And from what I remember, I think he beat her into the ground pretty good. But I wasn't there. I didn't see what happened, so I don't know for sure. But definitely, this is a good game. It's the second Warriors of Chaos list that I've run into, and it's a Warriors of Chaos not as unique as Game 4, but definitely unique in some of his choices, and a very cool list to play against. And it's a very good game. It has a lot of highs and a lot of lows. This is going to be a good one. So clear your calendar for the next little while. This is going to be a longer one. So sit back, relax, get ready to listen to the sultry sounds of my voice as I lead you through this one. Scenario 5 was Double O Swine. It was a battle line setup. Basically, you deploy as normal, but after deployment is complete, both sides give an opponent one infantry model from their army. That model is your International Agent of Mystery and Lust, apparently. First turn, the player with the point total closest to a 7, basically the last number in your army, like point total, the closest to 7 gets the +1. In this situation, I had 2497 exactly. My opponent had 2498. I got the 7 on the dot, so I got the +1, and you'll see how that works out for me in a minute. Special stuff in this one, the model that you gave up is your spy. The opponent must put your model in one of their units. The spy cannot be hurt in any way. The unit only moves as fast as the slowest model. If the unit with the spy flees, they drop the spy immediately. The spy can be picked up by any other unit by making contact with him. Once you touch him, you stop. You can't run, you can't march past him and then catch him. Once you grab him, you stop right there the moment you make contact. You have to recover your spy and keep your opponent's spy. Your spy and your opponent's spy can never be in the same unit because they would destroy each other. Double O Swine stats is movement 5, weapon skill 6, strength 5, toughness 5, 3 wounds, initiative 5, 3 attacks, leadership 8, 4 armor save, and a 5 up ward. Victory conditions for this bad boy is you use the 20 system for battle points. It is the only scenario in the entire GT that actually used the 20 system for battle points, so that was kind of cool. Rescue your spy is 2 battle points. Keep your Double O Swine alive is 1 battle point. Win by 100 or by 100 victory points, but your outed spy isn't recovered, so you don't recover your model, but you win by over 100 victory points. You actually lose 3 battle points because you won, but you failed to rescue your spy. And then if you win by 100 victory points, but your swine is dead or fleeing at the end of the game, that's -3 battle points. And yeah, so you getting a hold of the swine was critically important in this one.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list, which is the last time you'll see this particular list, so pay attention. I have my Tomb King, Lord Tremendous. He's got a shield, Sword of Anti-Heroes, Armor of Destiny, Dragonbane Gem, and the other Trickster's Shard. I have my Lich High Priest, Queen Elizabeth, who's a level 4 wizard with the Staff of Sorcery and a Lore Nehekara. And I have another Lich High Priest, Dark Vincent, who's a level 3 wizard with the Dispel Scroll and the Lore of Undeath. My hero choices are my Necrotech Sinister Jeffrey with the Sword of Striking, Dragon Helm, and Iron Curse icon. My core choices are 5 Skeleton Horse Archers with Banner, 58 Skeleton Warriors, the Fateless, with full command, light armor, and shields, 12 Skeleton Archers, the Queen's Guard, with full command, a unit of 3 Chariots, Rollin' Bones, with Musician, Banner, and Banner of Eternal Flame, and another unit of 3 Chariots, the Thunder, with Banner Musician. My special choices are my 3 Medusa Stalkers, those that gaze, and of course my Cimmerian War Sphinx with Fiery Roar. And my rare choices are my Hyro Titan Ned the Protector, my Screaming Skull Catapult, and my Casket of Souls. My opponent's list is as follows. He had a Chaos Lord with the Mark of Tzeentch on a Manticore. That is not a typo. He had him on a Manticore, which is really cool. I always wanted to do that when I was playing Warriors of Chaos, and I just wasn't brave enough. He had a shield, the Ogre Blade, the Talisman of Preservation, and the Third Eye of Tzeentch. His hero choices were an Exalted Hero with the Mark of Tzeentch, BSB, Shield, Chaos Steed, Biting Blade, Talisman of Endurance, Potion of Speed, and the Burning Body. And last but not least, he had a Chaos Sorcerer with the Mark of Slaanesh, who was a level 2 wizard with On a Steed of Slaanesh, Dispel Scroll, Talisman of Protection, Scaled Skin, and the Lore of Slaanesh. His core choices were a unit of 10 Marauder Horsemen with Mark Slaanesh and a Musician. And then he had 3 units of Chaos Warhounds, 5 Chaos Warhounds with Poison Attacks and Vanguard. He also had 3 Chaos Chariots, all with the Mark of Tzeentch. And for his special choices, he had a Gorebeast Chariot with the Mark of Nurgle, 5 Hellstriders butt naked, and a Chimera with Flaming Breath and Regen. His rare choices were 3 Skull Crushers and a Chaos Spawn Mark Slaanesh and a Chaos Spawn Mark Nurgle. So very cool list to fight against. Here are my spells, and yeah, that's what I brought. And here are his spells, which are the 2 good ones from the Lore of Slaanesh. Here's something I don't normally do. Here's a picture of his army. He had it all fancied up on his display board and everything like that, and I was like, sure. He offered me a picture of it, and I took the opportunity because, you know, it's free, and it's a very nice army, and it's a very unique army. I really like what he did here. The man plays a very cool Warriors of Chaos army, and he plays it well. Here's deployment, and as you can see, it was Warriors of Chaos versus me. I knew I wasn't going to be able to stay away from them, and castling would have been useless because with their speed, they were going to be on me way too quick. So I deployed kind of left center there, left my chariots out on the right side to just kind of sweep over to the left. That was the plan anyway. When as you can see, he's got like the Chimera in his right flank, our left, and his Manticore is behind the house with his Chaos Lord. So I was hoping with, because he put the Chimera down pretty quick, so I was hoping with my casket down I could get a hold of the Chimera because he's only leadership 5, and perhaps, I know he's got the 4 regen and everything like that, but I was hoping with just like the 4 wounds that the Chimera has, it would just obliterate itself before it got too close to me. And because Chimeras, especially in the infantry or pretty much anything other than my kitty, it was going to just devastate it. So, because they got like 7 to 9 attacks, plus I knew he probably had regen and flaming breath on it, if not the whole shebang with poison, and I was just terrified of the damn thing. As far as I was concerned, it was more of a threat than the Chaos Lord. Then, you know, with the rest of his chaff and stuff in the middle, I wasn't worried. You know how I play my guys. I'm gonna stand and shoot with everything that I'm gonna point and shoot with everything I got at his chaff just to try to lower it down and maybe even make it panic and wait for the bulk of his army, the chariots, the skull crushers, the chimera, and everything else like that to actually blow past it all and get a hold of me. I did put my scouts out in the middle, just again, I'm gambling like an idiot, and I put them out there so that if I went first, I was in great position to move my scouts around and take some pot shots at his chaff. If not, it's first turn, he charges them and they're dead, but it stops him from vanguarding too much too. So I was trying to get best of both worlds, and well, you'll see what happens in a minute. Here's my opponent's right flank, which consists of his Chimera and I believe his, that's a Chariot Mark Tzeentch. And here's his center, which from left to right, there's his BSB on a steed out on his own. In front of him is a unit of Chaos Hounds. Next to him is another, that is his Gorebeast Chariot. And then the purple guy, I believe, is the Mark Nurgle spawn. There's his Skull Crushers in the center there. Right next to them is level 2 with the Seekers of Slaanesh there. Steeds of Slaanesh unit, Hell Seekers, Hell Flayers, whatever they are. And then another unit of dogs in the dead center with a chariot on our right there, Mark Tzeentch. And here's his left flank, which consists of another unit of his hounds. There's my agent, my outed spy right there in that unit of hounds. There's his spawn Mark Slaanesh, I believe, over there. Another chariot. Behind the house is his Chaos Lord on a Manticore. And there's his big old unit of Marauder Horsemen. Here's my center, which consists mainly of my chariots, my Titan, and my War Kitty. And here's my left flank, which consists of my archers with my Lich Priest installed, my Skeleton Warriors with Tomb King Necrotech installed, Casket, and Catapult. Here's top of one after movement, and are you surprised? I didn't get to go first. In fact, I honestly don't think I got to go first in any of my games during this tournament. Maybe I did in game 2, but I don't think so. So it is what it is. You know, what can you do? Yeah, it's 50-50, or at least that's what I choose to believe, and I just ended up on the wrong side of the coin. But as you can see, my scouts get double charged, a unit of hounds and a chariot slam into my skeleton horsemen, so I know they're screwed. You know they're screwed. They did traffic jam a little bit, as you can see, his BSB and his spawn and everything like that. They kind of merged in on it. Even the Chimera kind of flipped around them and stuff. So there's a small traffic jam going on right now, and I feel pretty good about that. But that's really the only other advantage they're going to give me, other than slowing down his vanguards and stuff like that. Because I gambled once again and lost. This is why I don't go to Vegas. Well, I don't go to Vegas and gamble anyway. Other than that, his whole left flank comes down my right flank, and they're just trying to tear ass down the table as quick as they can so they can get a hold of me and turn my bones into toothpicks. There's a better picture of his dogs and chariots slamming into my scouts, and they're dead. Nothing happens in his magic or shooting phase, so we go into combat, and my scouts get destroyed before they can do anything. I think he did 4 wounds alone with impact hits, and then just, yeah, I mean, they're Chaos Warriors going up against Weapon Skill 2, Toughness 3 scouts. I didn't really have a chance. They don't overrun or anything like that. Neither of them have to. They just kind of turn to face the rest of my army. So we go over here to bottom of one after moving because he's got first blood, and I charge the Warhounds with the kitty. I expected him to flee. I had no doubt that he was going to. I redirected into the chariot with the kitty just because why not? If I roll boxcars, I didn't want to waste it. And I wanted to cause, you know, a fear check when I slammed into him and stuff like that. But I didn't make the charge. He passed all panic checks required and all that other good stuff, so it is what it is. And my War Kitty ended up right where he's at. Other than that, my Skeleton Warriors kind of turned to face where the Chimera and the Chariot are coming, just in case. The rest of my chariots move up just to get into shooting range on his chaff, and the Titan moves up so that he can also try to do Shem's Burning Gaze and stuff like that. Even my archer unit moves up. Pretty much everything moves up slightly just to get in range and to support everything else. There's a better picture of his Warhounds fleeing from my kitty, and yes, his BSB did get clipped, and yes, he passed his leadership check, which was sad. And, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot over here, my chariots, they had a long-distance charge into his wolves. I needed a 9, and he decided to flee, and that was really smart because I actually did roll a 9, a 5, a 4, and a 4. So I would have made the charge, which is kind of hilarious, but instead I ended up going up 5 inches, and they can't shoot now, but the dogs did drop my agent, so there is a good chance I can recover him now, and that would be nice. During the magic phase, I 6-diced the casket after his Chimera. It goes off. Not irresistible, but my opponent was just like, well, I don't want to waste my Dispel dice at one spell, so go ahead. And I think he rolled a 9 or something like that, so he had 5 wounds done to the Chimera, and he only saved 2 with regen. So the Chimera's hanging on by a thread, but it's still alive. So I was like, I was hoping he was going to roll a lot higher than 9 on 3d6, but can't fault the guy for rolling well when he needs to. And then over here, my archers, just random archers, they took some pot shots at his spawn, and one guy rolled a 6 to wound, so one spawn is bleeding from the face, which is always a good thing. With no combat, we go over here to top of 2 after movement, and there's going to be combat. That Chimera is pissed and charges into my Skeleton Warriors. And I got to be honest, I figured I'd be okay against the Chimera with the Skeleton Warriors. I should be able to do one more wound to it. I should be able to kill it. And, you know, I'm weapon skill 6. I got 6 up Lord for parry. I should be able to deal with this guy. At the very least, I should be able to win in combat res, and this thing is going to flee. The general's way too far away. He's not going to roll a 5 to, you know, rally him, even with the reroll, and the thing's going to be off the table in a turn or 2. So either way, the Chimera is no longer a threat. I just got to hope he doesn't direct attacks at my Tomb King and kill him. Other than that, the Chariot runs into my, my War Kitty and actually makes it, which I guess I kind of had that one coming. So he makes it into Kitty. Still going to need 6s to wound and everything like that. And I am right next to my Necrotech, so I do get the regen. So I'm hoping. Other than that, one unit of dogs on my right flank does rally and turn to face. The other unit of dogs does not rally and continues to flee. His BSB and his Hell Seekers, Hell Flayers, whatever, Hell Striders, they run over to my left flank there just to get better angle for Choir and all that good stuff. Everything else just kind of sets up and gets ready to countercharge whatever survives his initial charge. There's a better picture of his Chimera slamming into my Warriors and his Chariot slamming into my Kitty. And there's a better picture of his Warhounds failing a charge into my Chariots. Sorry, I forgot that his Warhounds did try to charge Chariots. There's a better picture of his other Warhounds rallying, and that's good for him. And there's a better picture of his other Warhounds continuing to flee, which is good for me. During his magic phase, he gets Cacophonic Choir off on my Skeleton Warriors. I think like 1 or 2 die. It's not a huge big deal. But it does make it so that I always strike last now, and I'm D6 random movement instead of my normal whopping 4. Okay. So I had to adapt my plan. So I was like, well, all right. The Chimera dies or flees, and next turn I can turn to face the Chariot if it's still there in combat with the Kitty, and I should be able to slam into it. All I need is like a 2. So I should be okay there. I should be able to make this work for me. His Cacophonic Choir went off irresistible, and the poor guy rolls a 3 on the miscast chart. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's game 5 of a GT. I was happy to see that, but gotta be honest, I like this guy. He was a good guy. He was a fun guy. He was an upbeat guy. He was a cool guy to hang out with and play a game with. So I was like, damn. I almost wanted him to re-roll it because I was like, but it's a GT, and I can't afford to go easy on anyone. And I wouldn't want anybody to go easy on me either or pull back at all, especially at a GT. So I just, I was sympathetic because I understood. I've been there a million times. So, but he was a champion about it. He really was like, hey, it is what it is, and we were having a good time. So he rolls it, and 3 of the Hell Striders end up dying, but his his caster makes his save and doesn't go into the warp. So it really didn't work out badly for him. He couldn't cast anymore this phase, but he didn't really have any dice left either, so wasn't a huge big deal. So it went good for both of us. Well, it went good for me, and he was an upbeat guy about it, so you got to give him credit for that. Then over here in combat, I way underestimated the Chimera. This thing kills 4, 8, 12, 14. That's right, 14 Skeleton Warriors die before I get to even attack once. He murdered this unit. He got his Thunder Stomps in because they happen at Always Strike Last, which is what I was rolling at because of Cacophonic Choir. So he got his Thunder Stomps. He got all 9 of his attacks. He got his Flaming Breath off. He beat the crap out of this unit. 14 Skeleton Warriors dead to a 1 wound left Chimera before the Tomb King was able to slip 1 wound through and kill it. I was stunned. I mean, we were laughing like, holy crap. Imagine, because that's it. I only got 1 wound through with the Tomb King. He regened all the others. And the only flaming attacks I have in this army are way over on the left side. So I was so SOL. I was really happy that this thing only had 1 wound left because I could not have tolerated another round of combat against this thing. It would have ended that unit all by itself. So, wow. And then over here, the Chariot does do a wound to my War Kitty, which breaks my heart. However, I'm able to do 2 or 3 wounds back to the Chariot. I win this combat, but it makes it break check no problem. So then we go over here to bottom of 2 after moving, and I implement my random movement attack phase and my Skeleton Warrior slamming into the Chariot that's in with the Kitty. My other Chariots, they charge that purple Nurgle spawn and make it, and that's kind of nice. They did charge the Warhounds, and they fled first, so I redirected them to spawn, so that worked. And then on my right flank, I charge the other spawn with my Chariots. It's kind of a longer distance charge, but I was feeling froggy, and I knocked it out of the park, made it into that one, so that was pretty cool. My Titan turns to face the, what's it called? oh gosh, what are they called? The Chaos Lord on the Manticore and the Marauder Horseman, just because Shem's Burning Gaze is good at taking care of chaff. And my Stalkers come in behind the Manticore with the full intent of Care Bear staring the crap out of this thing, and possibly even, unlikely, but possibly even March blocking him for a turn, which would be glorious. There's a better picture of my chariot slamming into the Slanesh spawn, I believe, and that's awesome. And there's a better picture of my other chariot slamming into the other spawn, which is also awesome. And there's a better picture of my random movement skeleton warrior slamming into the chariot because it was the only option I had. And there's a better picture of the dogs fleeing from the charge from my, what's it called? Chariots, and that's cool because now his chaff is way behind his own lines. During the magic phase, I'm able to summon in a unit of Hex Race, which is huge because I have a general and a bunch of marauders coming down my right flank and only a Titan in between me and them. So with the Hex Race, I feel pretty good about that I should be able to deal with them. However, I roll Irresistible Force on that one, and it's my turn to roll Snake Eyes. Well, in all fairness, my opponent rolled a 3, but I rolled a 2, which really is the same damn thing.
No! You must not read from the book!
Needless to say, I got pretty friggin' lucky. I take 4 wounds to my unit, and my level 3 caster survived. I rolled a 5. He did take the wound, however, from being under the template, but he didn't die. The warp is not accepting recruits today, fortunately for me and my opponent. But wow, 2 miscasts, cascading explosion stuff. That's whew. Heart's racing right now just remembering it. No, nothing happens in the shooting phase because my catapult sucks. So we go into in the combat, and yeah, my chariots just obliterate that spawn, which is awesome. And then even more awesome is the chariot, the dogs, and the other chariot were all within 6 inches. As you can see, the chariot and the dogs fail their panic check and flee. My opponent's dice have turned on him. And then the other chariot, the one that I could overrun into because I positioned my chariots in such a way they did not hit the spy. See, Lord Tremendous was thinking. It actually stayed. And so I was able to slam into that with my chariots, and that was huge. So, yeah, his entire right flank is now basically under my control. 2 of the units are fleeing, and the one that didn't flee, I was able to slam into. Ridiculous, I know, stupid, but hey, it worked out, and my opponent's dice have started to turn on him, and I'm starting to feel bad for the guy. Over here, however, did not do as well. I was able to slip 1 more wound through on his spawn. Spawn wasn't able to do anything back to me, and they're unbreakable, so it couldn't have cared less. So, a little bit of a flub roll on my part over here, but after what happened on the right flank, I just see it as the universe righting itself, and I'm okay with it. In combat, though, that chariot got obliterated. My Tomb King moved over. My Necrotech was there. We beat this thing into the dirt. And then we just turned to face the BSB and the Hellstriders and everything else that was coming down the pipe because we figured, hey, well, I figured, hey, you know, I'm going to have to deal with these guys now, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. So, with all that fun said and done, we go over here to top of 3 after movement. And I believe his Gorby's chariot and his Skullcrusher slam into my chariots. And as far as I'm concerned, that spells the end for those guys. They're dead. His Hellstriders and his BSB fall back a little. Well, his BSB runs over to the Skullcrushers, the spawn, and the Gorby's chariot to give him that reroll just in case. The Hellstriders, they back up a bit, which was fine by me because now they're out of range for the Cacophonic Choir. That unit of dogs that was fleeing, I believe, rallies in the center. I don't think the ones on the left do. I'm not 100%. However, no, I'm sorry, they do. But the ones on the right flank, the chariot rallies, but the wolves don't, or the chaos hounds don't, and they flee off the table, which is great. His general, who is carrying a few wounds from the Care Bear stare last turn, the Manticore is. I believe the Manticore is carrying a couple, and the Chaos Lord was fine, but the Marauder Horsemen and everything, they all make their march checks and go fleeing towards the middle to get into this fight. That's about it. There's a better picture of the Skull Crushers, the Gorby's chariot, and everything else slamming into my chariots, and that's pretty much the end for them. And there's a better picture of his warhounds fleeing off the table and his chariot rallying. And there's a better picture of his other unit of hounds rallying, which is good for him. Nothing happens in his magic phase, and he doesn't really have a shooting phase, so we go into combat, and sure enough, I flub. I am able to put a few wounds through on his chariot, but he's able to put 5 wounds onto my chariots. He's strength 5, he's got weapon skill 3, and he's a myrtleizer. So yeah, one of my chariots explodes, and I get 2 wounds after a combat res and everything like that, which sucks, but what can you do? I did do as much as I could. This chariot is hurting pretty bad. I think it's got 2 or 3 wounds on it now, so it's going the right direction. But now I've got to do skeleton warriors versus chaos warriors, and that's never a good matchup for the skeletons. With nothing else going on in his phase, we go or his turn, we go to bottom of 3 after moving into my turn because I didn't get a picture of it because it's a tournament. I sometimes forget to take pictures. His skull crushers, his Gorby's chariot, and the spawn were able to finish off my chariots. However, I was able to finish off his spawn with the few attacks I had left, so that was something at least. I did get rid of something before I lost my entire unit of chariots, which kind of sucked. So we go over here to bottom of 3 after moving, and my hex ray, or my, my hex rays, they go flying through the Gorby's chariot and do a little bit of damage. My Titan, not knowing what else to do, kind of charged his skull crushers because it was either I charged them or they charged me because I can't march. I couldn't get out of the charge arc, so I figured, screw it, I'll charge him. Maybe I'll get lucky. Didn't really think I would, but I figured it was better than nothing. And the kitty charges the Chaos Hounds again. I'm sorry, the kitty charged his BSB, who failed his terror check and fled. And he bounced through the dogs, and the dogs actually passed their panic check, which I thought was hilarious. That was mostly due to his general being within 18 inches of him, but it was still kind of funny. I believe that's about it. My stalkers try to come over and get back into this fight, and everything else I have is dead or already in combat. There's a better picture of my Titan slamming into his skull crushers because I just had no other choice. It was charge or be charged. During the magic phase, I'm able to bring in some Boshati, and I thought that was great because the skull crushers, if they eat through my Titan, they have to go through the Boshati now. Nothing better than a free unit to stop expensive units from destroying my, costly units and characters. And I get 3 strength 6 shots at a point blank range Gorby's chariot that's already got 2 wounds on it. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. And I like free units. The Lore of Undeath is friggin' amazing. Next in the magic phase, I'm able to get a 5-up ward save off on pretty much everything you're looking at here, which is nice. I'm able to heal some wounds. The kitty's back up to full power. I'm able to bring my bows, my archers back in my archer unit. I'm able to bring some skeleton warriors back, and now everything's got a 1/3 chance to stop any wound that's inflicted on them whatsoever. So that's really huge. Unfortunately, I had to 5 dice it just to make sure it went through, and I irresistibly forced it through with a miscast 9.
No! You must not read from the book!
Not the kind of thing you want to do in the middle of the game where, your characters are already kind of hurt. So my level 3 caster takes another wound, so he's down to 1 left. And, of course, my Hierophant, she actually survives and doesn't take a wound or makes her 5-up ward, so she's okay. That wound marker you see is actually on his spy. That's the spy that's in with my archers. We forgot that they couldn't be hurt, so that's what that wound counter's for. My Hierophant is actually fine. During the shooting phase, I'm able to take down his Manticore. No, not with the catapult. With the Boshati, I decided, screw it. I'm gonna shoot it as general because I strength 6 shots. I have a chance of putting some wounds on him, and I hit and wounded and was able to finish off his Manticore with the Boshati, which was unbelievably lucky. I won't even lie to you for a second. I was very happy because now the little guy's on foot, and now he can be killing blowed. Now he can be dealt with. There's a lot of things I can do against him now that I couldn't do when he was on a monster. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. And yeah, just thought I'd take a picture and show you that. Also during the shooting phase, my archers take a bunch of shots at the Gorby's chariot because he's right there, and I'm able to slip another wound through on him. So he's got 3 wounds on him. I think he's got 2 left. It is Gorby's chariot, but it is not nearly as dangerous anymore, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Then during the combat phase over here, Titan gets his face stomped in, even with the 5-up ward save. After combat res and everything like that, Titan has 4 wounds on him. He's hanging on by a thread, which means he's got one more turn. But he held strong against Skull Crushers that he charged, and so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I feel that it was the right move to charge them, because had they charged me, he'd be dead right now. So he's holding them up. He's dead. We all know it. There's nothing I can do about that. But he was dead anyway. So yeah. This is working out the best that it can. With all that fun said and done, we go over here to top of 4 after movement. And his Marauder Horseman charge into my Hex Race and make it. And he was just going for some combat res kills there. His Gorby's Chariot charge into the Boshati, because, you know, what other option does he have? His dogs come running up to the kitty because they're tired of life. And the chariots, I'm sorry, last turn his chariot was able to finish off my chariots because they're Chaos Warriors versus Skeleton Warriors. They had the advantage. I thought charging it was a good idea, and my opponent showed me how stupid I really am. So yeah, my Stalkers come forward because they're going to try to get over into the middle here and either get into combat or Care Bear stare at any stragglers. I probably should have looked them over at the chariots, but I figured I was far away from the chariot, so they if they did charge me, they needed a miracle. Other than that, I just kind of move my my Skeleton Warriors up near where the Hellstriders are, because I would love to be able to charge him next turn if he forgets to move them or something. There's a better picture of, I'm sorry, yeah, there's a better picture of his Gorby's chariot slamming into my Boshati, and that's fine. And there's a better picture of his Marauder Horseman slamming into my Hellstriders, and that's fine too, because I just have to wound a couple of times, and I should be able to turn to face and start murdering this unit, which is good because it's worth points. Oh, and I forgot. I'm sorry. His BSB that fled from my kitty last turn did not rally. He rolled an 11, and then he rolled an 11 off the table. 11 or 12. He rolled really high both times and fled his BSB off the table. This is just one more example of my opponent's dice completely turning on him during this game. So that was something, and I'll take it. During his magic phase, however, my opponent is far from done. He pavanes my level 3 caster, who has 2 wounds on him already, and is able to slip the final wound through and kill my level 3 Lore of Undeath caster, which sucks. However, I didn't see it coming. My opponent outplayed me and outpositioned me, and that was well played. Very well played on his part. Magic phase is over. We go into combat, and his Gorby's chariot does a lot of damage to my Boshati. After combat res and everything like that, because I'm not able to do anything back to the chariot because it's a Gorby's chariot, I ended up losing 2 of the Boshati, but 1 is still standing, which means this thing is stuck here for at least another turn. And that's huge. That's huge because now it's not turning to look at my archers. Now it's not looking at my Skeleton Warriors, not looking at the kitty. It's looking at a unit that is worth 0 points. So I'm okay with this. This actually worked out very well. Over here in combat, however, Nad dies to the Skull Crushers, and that's not a surprise. It's unfortunate that I had to sacrifice him in such a way, but I believe it was the right thing to do, and I expected it. And Nad, you are a hero. Over here in combat, I am able to kill one of his Marauder Horseman guys. In return, he does nothing back because, you know, I'm ethereal. He has charge and a flank to a wound. I lose by 1. One of my Hex Race dies, but that's fine because I make my leadership check, turn to face him, and now it's on. So we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and my Skeleton Warriors are able to charge and make it into his Hellstriders. My War Kitty is able to charge and make it into his Hounds, who pass their terror check no problem. My Stalkers move up a little bit closer, and that's it. Everything else I have is War Machines, Archers, or Dead. There's a better picture of my War Kitty slamming into the dogs, and that's kind of interesting role reversal. Usually dogs chase cats, but in this situation, my big old kitty is going to eat himself some canines. And there's a better picture of my Skeleton Warriors getting hold of these Hellstriders and his level 2 caster. And I didn't care what happened in this combat. I was throwing every last attack I had into his Slanesh Sorcerer. If his Sorcerer issued a challenge, my Tomb King was going to accept. If there was a unit champion in there, which I couldn't tell, I didn't know if there was or not. I could have asked. I just didn't bother. I figured I'd know in a minute. Then my unit champion would accept, and my Tomb King would make way, and just I'm gonna put every single attack I can into his caster because I need his magic phase gone so that my one remaining caster can basically have free reign. During the shooting phase, because nothing happens in my magic phase because life isn't always fair, during my shooting phase, the catapult actually hits this chariot and does 3 wounds to it. So that was actually pretty cool. It's about time that damn thing hit, but that's the last time it'll hit this entire game because it's the failapult, and you have to shoot it 6 times in order to get 1 hit, which really pisses me off. Nothing else happens in the shooting phase, so we go into combat, and it's exactly what I had hoped for. My general was able to take out his caster no problem in a challenge. He issued a challenge, my Tomb King accepted, and I was able to kill him, and my remaining Skeleton Warriors were able to finish off the Hellstriders with no damage, really. I did get a spell off on this unit, I don't remember what it was, but it really wasn't that big of a deal, so it's probably why I didn't take a picture. That, and I'm kind of rushing because it's a tournament, and I don't take quite as many pictures as when I'm playing just a friendly game. Over here in combat, I know you can't believe it, but my kitty was able to destroy the Chaos Warhounds and then turn and face the combat with the Marauder Horsemen. I'll be honest though, I was planning on sending the kitty after his general because his general's on foot now and I have 4 strength 5 killing blow attacks I would love to throw at his general. Over here, his Gorebeast flubs spectacularly. Once again, my opponent's dice are turning on him. I'm able to slip another wound through onto the, what's it called? Or I'm not able to slip any wounds through onto the chariot. He's able to do 1 wound. No, he's not able to do. Yeah, he's able to do 1 wound to me, and he wins his combat by 1. He's still flubbed pretty bad, all things considered. But he was able to do a wound to me. He wins by 1. I'm an arcane construct and couldn't care less. Then over here, my Hex Race are able to kill 2 more Marauder Horsemen because I'm not rolling all that great. My horses are actually rolling better than my Hex Race, but he gets an armor save against that, and these guys have like a 4-up. So they make their armor save against the horses, but the 2 Hex Race that wounded, they weren't able to make any saves, and 2 of them died. 2 wounds to nothing. They lose by 2, but with the general right there, they're able to make their break check. So we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and his general charges into my Hex Rake's flank, which is bad because now I think my Hex Rakes are dead. His Skull Crushers hit the corner of my Boshati, and there's nothing I can do about that. And his chariot that took out my chariots makes a long distance charge into my Stalkers. Nothing I could do about that. It was a hell of a gamble, and it paid off for him. Can never fault a guy for rolling out of the box. There's a better picture of his chariot slamming into my Stalkers, and that kind of sucks. And there's a better picture of his Skull Crusher slamming into Boshati. And I was okay with that because these guys are still frenzied, so they're going to kill this Boshati and overrun off the table and be done for the game, which is good because they're only really got like a unit of chariots, so I'm perfectly fine with that. And there's a better picture of his general slamming into my Hex Race, and that kind of sucks because I know my Hex Race are dead, but they don't cost anything, so I'm okay with it. Nothing happens in his magic shooting phase because he doesn't have one, so we go into combat, and I know you can't believe it, my Boshati gets murder death killed, and that's a shame. Over here, however, his general flubbed pretty bad. Unfortunately, I think he killed like 1 guy. However, my counterattacks, I was able to kill 1 of his Marauders. I didn't do quite as well. So charge and flank and a wound to a wound. I lose by 2, so I lose the 1 that he killed and 2 others. I have 1 Hellstrider or Hex Wraith left, and that's a lot more than I expected to have. Then over here in combat, this chariot just knocks out of the park. 7 impact hits, all the attacks he could possibly want, and yeah, he got them all, so ugh, Stalkers get obliterated. So, with that all said and done, we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and there is some Kitty Ghost slamming into the flank of the Chaos Lord. My hope is either combat res him to death or get enough through his 3-up ward save that he dies. Killing Blow is still a possibility. There is a 1 in 6 chance he could roll, the 2 on his ward save and die, but I really wasn't banking on that. My hope was just end this thing. Blow your breath weapon, blow everything. Get him to roll as many dice as you can get him to roll, and hope that you can take out the Chaos Lord or break him and run him down. That was the hope. That was the only thing I had going for me, and that's what I was planning on trying to do. I take my Hierophant out of the unit of archers, and I make the archers so that they're ready to take the charge from the, what's it called? The Gorby's chariot, because it turned to face them after destroying the Boshati. So I'm just hoping to buy myself a turn so I can get my Hierophant out of the way and maybe kill the, what's it called? Gorby's chariot with something else, because I was terrified of that damn thing. I did try to charge it with my Skeleton Warriors. It was like a Hail Mary charge. I needed an 11 or 12 to hit it, and needless to say, I did not roll it. There's a better picture of the War Kitty slamming into the Chaos Lord, and this was my chance to take him out. I had to take it. And this is a better picture of my Skeleton Warriors failing a charge into Gorby's chariot, and that was just a Hail Mary, oh god, please make it charge, and it doesn't upset me that I didn't make it, because it was very unlikely I was going to roll that. During the magic phase, mostly as desperation, I do the big negative D3 strength and toughness spell, Desiccation, onto the Gorby's chariot. It goes off, and it's -2 to his strength and toughness, which is huge. However, it was a gamble, and I miscast 8 on this one in order to make it happen.
No! You must not read from the book!
All in all, I think the miscast was worth it. I ended up taking 1 wound for my trouble, and my magic phase was ended before I could get the ward save off or anything else. But I'm not going to complain, because now his Gorby's chariot isn't quite as dangerous as it was a moment ago. So I'm hoping against hope that my skeleton warrior, or skeleton archers anyway, can handle that charge long enough for my Hierophant to get the hell out of the way next turn. This right here was unbelievable. His Chaos Lord is able to kill the Hex Wraith, and that's not a surprise. I get 1 killing blow off against him from the guys on top, and he rolls a 2 for his ward save. Can you believe it? The kitty killed the Chaos Lord. I mean, my opponent, he rolled terribly, of course, for the initial attacks against the Hex Wraith. And then when he had the 1 die to roll with a 3-up ward save, re-rolling ones because he had the 3rd eye of Tzeentch, the only thing he could have rolled that wouldn't have saved his life was a 2, and he rolled a 2. And I got to be honest with you, I had kind of like an out-of-body experience when that happened. I was stunned beyond words. Both of us were. But you know what? My opponent just kind of shrugged and was like, that's the way it goes sometimes, and picked him up. He wasn't upset. He wasn't mad. He didn't throw a fit or anything like that. Like, hey, I wouldn't have faulted him if he had done any of those things. He just shrugged. He was a real cool guy, real laid back. It was just like, whatever. We're only playing for $4,000, He didn't say that. I did, but you know what I mean. It was just really kept it in context, and I thought that was really cool. But yeah, oh my god, my kitty killed a Chaos Lord with Killing Blow that had a 3-up re-rolling 1's ward save. I was giddy as a schoolgirl on the inside. I did a little girly squeal in my head and everything. It was awesome. But wait, it gets better. The War Kitty wins this combat, the Marauders break, and the kitty runs them down. If this isn't the best GD model in the entire world, in the entire universe, I don't know what is. This War Kitty has done more for me than any other model in any other army I have ever played in any game, video, tabletop, board, ever. Favorite model ever. I will be buried with this model one day. That's how in love I am with it. This thing, if I could repaint it with platinum, gold, and the Tears of Virgins, I would, but I'm not going to do any of that because I'm not independently wealthy. But I love this thing like it's a child. This just phenomenal friggin' model, unit, and performer. I love you, kitty. Absolutely love you. So we go over here to top of 6 after movement, and the chariots make their move. His Gorby's chariot slams into the skeleton archers, and that's really bad for me. And then his other chariot slams into the flank of my kitty, which the audacity. But yeah, he slams into the flank of my kitty, and then his other chariot picks up the spy, and his skull crushers come back on the table because they overran after the bow shot the off the table, and now they came back on. So that's fine as far as I'm concerned. They're out of the game, so they're gonna live, but whatever. They're not gonna kill anything else, and that's huge. There's a better picture of his Gorby's chariot slamming into my archers, and moment of truth. And there's a better picture of the dead man chariot that just attacked my kitty. How dare you, sir? Honestly, actually, I was a little worried about this because charge in a flank, he's already winning by 2 combat res, which means I've already taken a wound. If he can do wounds as well on top of this, kind of screwed. But I do have strength 4 and strength 5 attacks. I do still have my breath weapons, so I'm hoping, but we'll see. Nothing happens in magic shooting because he doesn't have those phases anymore, so we go into combat, and the -2 strength, -2 toughness really does help. My archers, I ended up, after combat res and everything like that, I lose 4 total, which means my Hierophant is safe. I can move him out of there next turn. Even if I don't, it's not like he's going to overrun and kill my Hierophant because it'll be bottom of 6 next turn. The archers stayed. I still have his, what's it called? His spy. He was not able to recover him yet, so if I can just survive one more turn, I'm good to go. And my skeleton warriors are in a really good position to charge him in the flank, kill him with maybe even combat res. So really thinking that I got this one clinched over here now. Thank you, archers. You are the men. Over here, Kitty gets his butt kicked. I ain't gonna lie to you. This guy does 3 wounds to the kitty. He wounds 3 times and a strength 5. There's nothing I can do about it. So yeah. War Kitty takes 3 wounds. Luckily for me, I was able to kill the chariot off before we got to combat res, because otherwise if I didn't do any wounds, my kitty was going to die. And this kitty is just not done. He just looks cooler now. He's killed the chariot, and I turn him to face the other chariot because I need to recover my spy. I know I'm going to win. I know I'm going to lose 3 battle points if I don't recover my spy. This is my chance. I have to charge the kitty into the other chariot, and if I need the chariot to flee so I can recover my spy, or I need the chariot to stand, die, or break from combat so I can recover my spy. I need to get my spy so I don't get the penalty points. So it's all come down to this. So we go over here to bottom of 6 after movement, and the only thing I got that works is the kitty charges the other chariot and makes it. My skeleton warriors do attempt to charge the Gorby's chariot and fail their charge once again, but I'm hoping the archers can hold out, or maybe I can get some magic off on them and save them that way. There's a better picture of the War Kitty slamming into the last remaining chariot. And I just need to do, I think, like 1 more wound to this thing and it dies. I get my spy. I recover that. I get the points for the chariot. And that would be huge. And there's a better picture of my Skeleton Warriors failing a charge. Not great, but not game ending or anything like that. They did take care of the Sorcerer Lord. They did take care of the Hellstriders. They did save the kitty earlier on when he was in there with the chariot. So this all worked out pretty good. I'm not going to fault him for it. It is what it is. And during the magic phase, because why not, I 6 dice the casket because it's safe. It goes off, and his Skull Crushers, he rolls out of the box. And his Skull Crushers, 2 of them die. Which was just ridiculous. I just figured why not. I had nothing else to do. I didn't want him to think that I was not going to cast anymore because, I was taking it easy on him. I did have a target. There was no reason not to 6 dice the casket spell, so I did, and it really worked out great. But the Skull Crushers don't completely die, so I get no points. And it's not like they're going to take a panic check or anything. Also, during the magic phase, I'm able to get a 5-up ward save and +1 attack and multiple shots off on my archers. Not that I really expect them to do anything, but it brings more archers back so that I keep his spy, I don't lose my unit, and the Gorby's chariot's stuck there. And that it's a GT, I gotta play it smart. We go into combat, and can you believe it? These crazy MFN archers. They weather the attacks from the Gorby's chariot. I lose 3 archers, and they counterattack with the +1 attack that the front rank got, and they were able to slip enough wounds through to kill the chariot. I have seen more heroics from my army in this game than I have seen from any other army I've ever played up until this point. The kitty is going buck wild. The skeleton archers are going crazy. The Boshati stood their ground against a charge from a Gorby's chariot. The Titan held off a unit of skull crushers for two phases. Just an amazing amount of heroics in this game. The kitty killing the Chaos Lord, the Hex race surviving the Chaos Lord, just unbelievable amount of heroics from this army right now, and I've never been prouder. Just never. And then, just as the icing on the cake, the kitty is able. He does take one more wound, and then he kills the chariot, recovering my spy, solidifying those points. And I'll be dipped. This was the best performance of my army, my kitty, my archers, my everything that I've had in the history of this army, in the history of my Warhammer career, I guess. Couldn't be happier with the army. Couldn't be happier to end it on this note. And there it is, guys. There's the end of the game. Holy crap. This game was spectacular, and my opponent's dice rolling for my team was really a huge part of it. My opponent's dice really screwed him over a lot. You can see him on the table there. I wouldn't be surprised if they were on fire already. But yeah, the War Kitty doing what the War Kitty did. He's still there. My Skeleton Warriors are still there. My casket, my catapult, one caster, and my archers are all that's left. Everything else is dead. He's got some skull crushers left. What a brutal, fantastic game, and what a great way to end a great GT. Just phenomenal game, phenomenal opponents, just phenomenal everything. I cannot say enough good things about this GT, and especially this particular game. It got my best game vote. I was exhausted. I needed a nap and a soda after this, and well, I didn't have the soda and I didn't have the nap because I drove for 6 hours to go home. But what a phenomenal time! And you know what? We'll get to the recap in a minute because right now this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
All right, guys and gals, there it is. Token Gal is back, and she's back in full operation mode of making tokens. So if you missed out before she went and got married and became Mrs. Token Gal, or however that works, this is your chance. Get your tokens now. Send her an email. Send her your monies. Get yourself some tokens. They're dirt cheap, solid gold quality. You're not going to be disappointed. Tell her Tremendous sent you. She'll probably know. But yeah, get these tokens. They're so much better than just using dice. They're so much easier to remember everything. You don't have to worry about your cards getting lost, stolen, ripped, torn, whatever. And, you know, they're glass beads, cool high def pictures. Totally worth it. Get yourself some tokens. You won't regret it. That's right, guys. As you saw from the pictures, Unleashed Wargaming is now doing magic cards. As you can see, not only magic cards, but phenomenal magic cards. Laminated on thick cardstock, photoshopped so that it's real sharp pictures. The words are easy to read. It's real obvious they're numbered, the casting value, the type of spell it is, and they're so unique. They're beautiful magic cards. I have every intention in the world of sending just all the orders I can get to this guy when ninth edition comes out to give me a whole set of the magic cards because these are amazing. Not only does this guy do great painting, so if you want your models painted or you need something painted and you want it painted at a real good standard, at a professional standard for a damn good price, contact this guy. Send him an email. Get yourself some cards. Get yourself your army painted. You won't regret it. Let him know Tremendous sent you. So yeah, guys, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I got 2,364 victory points out of him. He got 1,075 out of me. That equivalent to 21 battle points for me and 2 for him. And there was a difference of 1,289 victory points between us. In the end, I lost my scouts, Sinister Jeffrey, all my chariots, my stalkers, and my titan. My opponent lost his Chaos Lord, his BSB, his Sorcerer, his Marauder Horseman, all of his Warhounds, his Chimera, all of his chariots, his Gorebeast chariot, his Seekers, and both Spawn. Once again, the kitty. Let's recap what that legendary hero that is known as the kitty did in this game. He took a charge from a chariot, weathered it, and held it there long enough so that the warriors could come in and they killed it. He got a hold of a unit of warhounds. He forced the BSB to flee because it failed a terror check, and the BSB did not rally because, well, later on, and ran off the table. Uh, then he killed a Chaos Lord, ran down a unit of Marauder Horsemen, took another charge in the flank from a chariot, a Chaos Chariot, killed it, then charged another chariot, killed it, and recovered my spy, solidifying that I wouldn't take the -3 battle points. I would love to give this thing just catnip forever. If I could do something to reward the kitty, I would. I know it's an inanimate object. I know it's a piece of plastic with some acrylic paint on it, but I love this thing like it's a child. This thing will always be in my army. I don't care if I start playing elves. I'm going to find a way to fit it in the army, even if it's just on there to confuse my opponent. I don't care. This thing can do no wrong. It is the best unit model thing I've ever had in any army I've ever ran. Yes, awesome. It is literally, it must be coated with Jesus blood or something. I don't know, because wow. Wow. The kitty is the ultimate weapon. I love my kitty. Absolutely love him. I'm sorry. I need a moment. Just, I'm emotional. Other than that, lots of miscasts in this game. The wins were really wild. Two cascading, whatever it is, 2 to 4 on the miscast chart. Cascading catastrophe. I don't remember what it is. Dimensional cascade. That's what it is. Two of those in one game. One is rare enough, but two in the same game on both sides of the table, no less. And neither of us, our wizards, got sucked in. I don't even know what the odds of that are, but I bet they're really low. Not to mention, I think I had 2 more myself or something like that. At least 1 more. It was just lots of miscasts, a lot of Winds of Magic going crazy. So the Chaos Gods were paying attention. I can't take like a whole lot of credit or anything like that. My opponent was outplaying me. Unfortunately, I was outrolling unfortunately for him, I was just outrolling him. I got some new dice at the beginning of the tournament. I bought from the TO. He had them up on the table for sale. I didn't buy them like directly from him. He brought a bunch of stuff from his store, and I wanted to spend money, so I bought some new dice because they matched my army, and it was the best decision I've made about dice in my entire life. So. But unfortunately, my opponent did not buy any dice from the TO apparently, and his dice were just awful. His Lord dying to Killing Blow when he had a 3-up ward save for rolling 1s and rolling a 2. I felt terrible for the guy because I've been there. In fact, my longtime subscribers will remember back when I had a BSB on a monstrous cav mount. The tournament, the local gaming store tournament that I was at, where I thunder stomped that thing into the ground because of how much it had failed me. So totally get that, totally been there, but the dude handled it a lot better than I would have, and for that alone, the dude's a champion in my book. And just because I thought this was just jaw-dropping, how about that Chimera? 1 wound left on it, and it killed 14 skeleton warriors before my Tomb King could take him down. And my Tomb King only got 1 wound through. My skeleton warriors I didn't even roll for because their initiative never came up, but they would have needed 6s to wound a damn thing, and it would have had a 4-up, 4-up. I mean, the Tomb King was really the only thing that was going to be able to do anything, and he only got 1 wound through, so it's safe to assume that had this Chimera had just 1 more wound on it, it would have possibly obliterated my damn Skeleton Warriors, because, it 14 14 skeleton warriors before the Tomb King could take him down. And that's because it had already taken 3 wounds from the casket. That Chimera was a face melter. I forgot how dangerous those things could be. I miss Trifection sometimes, but I know he's in good hands, so I'm not upset. But wow. Wow. I can't think of anything that has single-handedly killed 14 skeleton warriors all by itself. And I have run into Death Holy Death's vampire Blender Lord before, and I don't believe he killed 14 skeleton warriors, even with combat res. So, wow. But honestly, this was an outstanding game. This Ashley is an incredible opponent. Plays a not overpowered Warriors of Chaos list. I mean, a Chaos Lord on a Mana Core. I challenge you to cause this list cheesy. Yeah, he had some chariots, but he had chariots, and that was it. I mean, there was no demon prince, no crazy amounts of skull crushers, no hell cannon. I mean, all the things that people are like, oh, it's so cheesy. He had none of that, and if his dice had rolled averages, it would have been a much different outcome. But he was a real fun to play against. He was cool the whole time, real laid back dude. He's the kind of guy that you want to go to your local gaming store and find him and play a game against him because it's just going to be an enjoyable time with a buddy, you know? But just an unbelievably great way to end an unbelievably great GT. And if I ever get the opportunity to play this guy again, I will jump on it. But in the end, my results 51 battle points in total out of a possible, I think, 110. So just under average. And you know what? That was my performance in this GT. So it reflects how I played. I have no problem with that. Game 1 was a loss with 9 battle points. Game 2 was another loss with 3 battle points. Game 3 was a loss with 3 battle points. Game 4 I won with 15 battle points. And Game 5 I won with 21 battle points for a total of 51. Yay, math! I went 2-0-3, which was not my goal. My goal was 4-1. My backup goal was 3-2. I went 2-0-3. So little disappointed in myself. All in all, I won't lie to you. I really am a little disappointed in myself, but the positive thing that I can take away from this is I know where I screwed up. I know where my mistakes were made. I played against 2 armies I'm not overly familiar with, which is my own stupid fault. With the dwarves, I played against 2 very knowledgeable and excellent players of the dwarves, and they took it to me, and that's exactly what you should do at a GT, so I bear them no ill will. If anything, I want to thank them because now I have more experience with dwarves, and God, I hope I don't make that same mistake again. But it was great all in all, and in the end, I went home with player's choice. Can you believe it? People, you like me. You really like me. Or you feel sorry for me. One of the two. I'll take it. You know, whatever. But yeah, it was funny because we're going through the awards ceremony, and I knew I didn't win anything because, you know, I kind of played poorly, let's face it. And, but, you know, I like to see who won. I like to sit there. I like to support it. And, you know, it was cool. You know, I just played 2 days in a row. I want to see who came out on top. I want to see who got best painted. I want to see who got everything. And it was great because Token Gal actually won, what's it called? Her cornbread ain't quite finished, which is basically the worst luck of the tournament. And real quick story, she plays Lizardman, as some of you may know, and she has a Slan in a unit of about 20 Temple Guard. Well, her Slan in like game 2, first round, rolled 2 dice at a spell, Irresistible Forced it. She rolls Snake Eyes, Dimensional Cascades her Slan off the table, and kills every single one of the Temple Guard in the unit. Not one was rolled to wound. So all the Temple Guard and her Slan in like turn 1 are dead. Wow. And the TO was right there, and his eyes come out of his head, I guess. I wasn't there. I was playing a game, but this is what they told me. I think this is what they told me. I'm pretty sure I got the story right. If I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comment section. But then in turn 2, her next game, exact same thing happens, only this time 2 Temple Guards survive. So 2 games in a row, 2 Dimensional Cascades on 2d6, miscast. Wow. So she won the her cornbread ain't quite finished award, which is the worst luck award, and took away a big old block of like 120 dice and a calculator so she could calculate the odds of that ever happening again and stuff. So that was awesome that they did that, and she earned it. And then after that, he's going through the City Slicker Award. He explains that it's everybody votes, for who it is or whatever that they would like to play, blah blah blah. And he kept on looking over. I thought he was looking at somebody behind me. I'm so stupid. I'm looking behind me like I wonder who won. And he calls out my name, and I was so stunned. I almost didn't even get up. I was but yeah, I ended up walking away with a GW Project box, which I gave to my wife because let's face it, she paints all my stuff and she loves it. And I won that badass 40K looking Nurgle guy right there. And what I plan on doing with that is my wife's going to paint it up because she's the one with the artistic family in the or artistic talent in the family anyway. And I'm going to put it on a little pedestal thing, and I'm going to make a trophy out of it, and I'm going to keep it forever because I am honored that enough people voted for me that I actually won this one because there were tons of votes. The TO actually made a point of letting everybody know that there was like 22 people voted best game out of the 51 or so that were there. So that was really cool, and the fact that I won it at all or was even nominated for it, that blows my mind. I always thought I was a prick, but very, very cool. I'm very happy with that. Thank you, everybody that voted for me, and people that didn't vote for me. I understand. I understand. I didn't vote for me either, if it helps. But yeah, very cool, and I appreciate it, and it definitely touched me. I won't lie. Good touch. Good touch. But yeah, guys, this was an absolute joy. The Shiloh GT is one of my favorite GTs to go to. Like I've said before, I said it on Warhammer Weekly, and I'll say it here as well. If you get a chance to go to a GT in Arkansas, get your ass to the Shiloh Slaughter 2016. It's in January of next year. I'm pretty sure it'll be in the actual date hasn't been released yet, so don't this isn't in stone. I have no control over this GT whatsoever. I don't do anything but participate in it. So I don't know for sure, but I know it's in 2016. The next one should be in 2016. It's in an amazing hotel. The game room isn't cramped. You know how sometimes you go into a gaming hall and you can't breathe because of all the, BPUs coming off of other people and everything like that. But no, it's not cramped. There's space to play. The TO is able to get a cash bar in there this year. It's in a college town. University of Arkansas is literally, you can throw a stone at it from where the hotel is if you were on the roof and had one hell of an arm. But it's in a college town, so partying was very convenient, and that was very obvious on Sunday when people were literally being dragged in by their gaming group because they were so hungover. And if that's not your thing, there's a lot of other stuff to do that night. The food is amazing. The TO is able to get little deals and stuff for our group if you mention that you're there for the Shiloh. It's an amazing experience. It's what other GTs should aspire to be like, and it's one that I will not miss. Hell or high water, or if my wife says I can't go. Unless one of those things happen, I'm going to this every single year until the TO bans me, and I hope he doesn't because it's one of my favorite GTs to go to. So huge thanks from Lord Tremendous to the guys and gals that put on the Shiloh GT. It's really great. I really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to see you guys again next year. It's an amazing experience. I cannot say enough good things about it. Please go to this thing if you have the chance, guys. I will play a game against you, and I might even let you win. Probably not, but maybe you can beat me, fair. I don't know. There's only one way to find out. Go to the Shiloh, challenge me, and let's get it on. But yeah, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. The Shiloh was amazing. It was a great turnout. It was awesome that I actually won something that felt really good because usually I don't. I was really proud of my co-gaming group person, Token Gal, for winning something, even though she had to sacrifice her slan twice to do it. But I believe that was her plan. I choose to believe that it probably wasn't her plan. And yeah, that's going to do it for this battle report number 192. Just things coming up. I've got new lists. I go back to Undead Legions. I've got 3 or 4 battle reports coming up soon with whole new, well, not whole new lists, but I'm trying new things. I'm trying to get stuff together, and I'm also getting ready. I'm starting to get ready for the Carnival of Chaos GT, which is in New Orleans in May. They've got some cool rules. Go check them out online if you get a chance. It's a cool GT. I think it's going to be a cool GT. It's in New Orleans, so that's a huge plus. And I plan on being in that one. My gaming group's going to that one, so we're gears are resetting to set up for that one. So you'll be seeing a lot of that one. And as of this battle report on February 7th, I'm going to have a 10,000 plus point game, Lord Tremendous versus the World. I'm fielding as much as I can versus as much as my opponents can field. It'll be a bunch of them versus me, and that's going to be Battle Report 200. So that's something to look forward to. It's going to be a big game, Tremendous versus the World, and I have no doubt I'm going to get slaughtered, but it should be a lot of fun. But as always, this one is over. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.